All right, so good evening, everyone. This is the Air Conservation Commission meeting. This is Thursday, March 24th, 2022, and due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, in accordance with Chapter 20 of the Act of 2021, suspending certain provisions of the Open Meeting Law, the OML, public bodies otherwise governed by the OML are temporarily relieved from the requirement that meetings be held in public places, open and physically accessible to the public, so long as measures are taken to ensure public access to the body's deliberations through adequate alternative means. This meeting will be live on Zoom. The public may participate remotely by joining Zoom, and the meeting ID number is 840-4058 0886, or by calling 929-205-6099. For additional information about remote participation, please contact Conservation Commission at com@ayer.ma.us, or by calling 978-772-8220, extension 143 prior to the meeting. It would be sad if I wouldn't have to do that anymore, wouldn't it? No? Okay. Do we have confirmation of agenda?
The only thing I'd like to suggest a very brief discussion of, perhaps after we've talked to the Creasers, would be we received something yesterday afternoon about either a field change or an amendment to the order of conditions for the National Grid project over on Westford Road. And so what didn't get onto the agenda. I see Jim Bolduck is here for that. So I just say, I think all we have to do is just look at it to consider, is this within the realm of a field change, or should it be an agenda item for a longer discussion? But I had made everybody aware that it didn't make it onto our agenda, and this could only be a very brief discussion.
And would this be right after the public meeting with the Creasers?
Yeah, that would be what I'd suggest, because everything after that is just commission business.
Okay. Sounds good. Motion to accept the agenda as amended. You got it. Yeah, I think you're muted, George.
You are.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it was moved by George Bacon, was seconded by Mark Phillips. Jen, how do you vote?
Aye.
George, how do you vote?
Aye.
Jess, how do you vote?
Aye.
And Mark, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, passes unanimously. Do we have approval of the meeting minutes for March 10th, 2022? Anyone have any changes, comments? Beautifully written as always, Jess. Thank you. Motion to accept the meeting minutes of March 10th, 2022 as written.
So moved.
Second.
It was moved by George Bacon, seconded by Mark Phillips. So we will do a roll call vote. Jen, how do you vote?
Aye.
George, how do you vote?
Aye.
Jess, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mark, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, passes unanimously. Our next item this evening is public input. If there is anyone out there watching, listening, if you have any comments to make concerning whatever you want it to be, speak up. All right, then hearing none, then we will move on. Our first item this evening is a public meeting, which we will open under the Wetland Protection Act and under the Air Wetlands Bylaw. It's a request for determination of applicability at 8 Standish Avenue, Ron and Colleen Creaser. Good evening. It's nice to see you again. A little bit drier this time than when we were at your house.
Not that much.
Not that much, but you notice that like shortly after we left, it came down in buckets.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So that was good. We got done in time. I was wondering, did you have any luck with your contractor getting a drawing from that person about, just a simple drawing on the construction of the stairs?
Not yet, because as I said, he went on vacation.
Okay.
So he'll get that to us when he gets back.
Okay.
We did
And we'll
it-
just separate.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
we
sorry?
separated, we sent Jess two separate RDAs. We separated out the trees and the stairs, as we had talked about when you were here.
Yep.
On Saturday, so that we'll have to, I guess, come back once we get those drawings for the stairs.
And John, you probably should summarize, because we had the site walk on the 19th. And
Mhm.
at that point, the taking down of additional trees was discussed. So you might want to review that, since anybody watching won't know.
That's right.
Right.
Yep. So we did separate the construction of the stairs leading down to the pond from the tree removal, just to speed up the process for the tree removal. There was at that point in time, one big pine tree right next to the shore, next to the steps, that was dead. And they had requested that it come down. I'm assuming with a crane. He said with a crane.
Mhm.
Yep. And when we were there that day, there were some other trees that the arborist had flagged as potential hazards. One of them was a big Scotch pine that was infected with carpenter ants. Another couple of trees that were very close to the house and had split tops, which are dangerous. One of which actually broke off and went through your house already. And then there were a couple of small ones that are dead right there in that stand.
Yeah.
With the two that had the forks. So there was in total, was it 6 trees altogether?
Yeah, and then there was one more small dead one on the other
Yep.
side of the house.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's 7.
So 7 trees in total to come down, all of which are dead, all of which are very close to the house and could potentially be a hazard. And commissioners have any comments on the taking down of those trees? George, you have any problems with that?
No, I'm fine.
How about you, Jen?
No, I think that makes sense. I think it makes sense to take them down for safety.
Yep.
No,
Mark, do you have any comments?
No, good.
Okay, Jess?
I'm good.
Okay. And the tree close to the pond, just going to stump it, leave the stump where it is. Yep. And the rest of it, and you were saying that a couple of the trees in between your house and your neighbor's house, you would leave fairly high just to act as more of a screen.
Right. For sure, one of them. The other one,
Mhm.
I'm not. It would depend if it's going to be stable, because that's the one with the rot on the bottom at the base too.
Yep.
So I'd like to get the arborist's opinion on that too when he comes.
Right. Well, again,
Yeah.
if it's a hazard to your house, we're not going to tell you to keep it there.
Right.
Okay, I mean, if you,
The one that's not rotted, that has this, the split up top that makes it unsafe, that one will be tall.
okay. All righty. Any comments from anyone watching on Zoom or listening? Okay, hearing no comments, no other comments from commissioners. I would, is there a
John,
motion? Yes, go ahead.
Just to clarify, looking at the agenda, so just is it in there as amended because now it's split into 2? Is that what you meant by the amended part of the agenda?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I meant by 2, because it's going to be 2 separate RDAs.
Okay.
Since they can schedule flag sooner rather than later, we won't hold that up, given difficulties in scheduling tree services. And our next meeting isn't for 3 weeks. So we have plenty of time to get the drawing for the stair.
Right.
So this just seemed,
So just to be clear, this is only for the tree removal, not the stairs.
right,
Right, yeah, so just as long as the notes reflect that we've split it in two, approving for the trees, and then the RDA or, second section of the RDA will come back
right.
later for the stairs. Okay,
And Colleen, you mentioned there might be less trees taken depending on some property issues between the houses.
Yeah, I think we have agreed to get a second opinion on the two trees the trees in between that are right on the property line. So, if we get information that says, no, in fact, these trees seem like they're perfectly safe, then we would certainly not take them down. We don't anticipate that that's going to happen, but, they do seem to both be hazards to the house, but we will get that confirmed by a second individual before we get them taken down. So we're working on that.
Right, so the RDA would be, or the determination would just be permitting up to the 7 trees mentioned, but obviously if it's less than that, we don't have an issue with that.
Okay.
Great.
Is that something we would need to come back and tell you if we don't end up taking them all down, or it doesn't matter?
No.
Okay.
No.
Or you could just drop us an email. You
Yeah.
wouldn't have to come to a meeting.
I mean, or hopefully we would have an update by the time we're coming back for the stairs in a few weeks as well.
Is there a motion to issue a negative determination on the RD8 at 8 Standish Avenue? Ron and Colleen Creaser for the removal of up to 7 trees.
So moved.
second,
Moved by George Bacon, seconded by Mark Phillips. We'll do a roll call vote. Jen, how do you vote?
Aye.
George, how do you vote?
Aye.
Jess, how do you vote?
I,
Mark, how do you vote?
aye,
Chair votes aye. So this will be sent out tomorrow or Monday, Jess?
I can be realistically Monday, and I can either send it to you certified or I can drop it off Monday night, 2 houses down.
Okay.
That's fine, or we can walk over and pick it up from you if that's easier.
Okay. So I will mark down hand delivery.
Yes,
Okay.
sounds great.
So that,
And once we get that, we can schedule,
Yeah, you just have the 10 days.
right?
10-day waiting period
Okay.
in case the state wants to appeal it.
Right,
Okay.
right.
Yeah,
well, they could get it scheduled, they just don't
Sure.
need to,
Right.
Yep.
they just can't do any work until at least 10 days.
and 10
Right.
day, correct.
I don't think it would be any sooner than that, so we'll work on getting it in the schedule the next few weeks.
Thank you.
Well, you're very
Okay.
welcome.
Have a good
Thank
night.
you.
And we'll get that drawing for the stairs as soon as we have it.
Okay, that'd be great. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okey dokey, then. The next item has to deal with,
National Grid,
National Grid, when I find my stuff.
the 0476.
What do I do with that?
'Cause I sent that out to everybody's town email yesterday. Got it. And Jim Bolduc, are you there?
I see his name.
I am, sorry, I'm just trying to figure out where the buttons are here.
Mm. That's
left
the
my-
refrain from present day. Where's my button?
Good evening, sir. How are you?
Good, sir, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. On this beautiful spring day.
Yeah,
So,
vernal pool season has hit.
that's right. Could you please tell us of the changes that you are proposing?
Yes, well, I'm filling in for Kellen, so I'm going to be stumbling through this a little bit here, so just bear with me. So there are a couple of changes. The first of which, the planning board would like us to install a series of arborvitaes over by wetland 1 as a screen for the abutters to the substation expansion.
Mhm.
Okay, that's the first change. And the second and last change is that originally over by wetland 2, we were going to install a new utility pole and remove a utility pole. But because of the reconfiguration of the 2388 line, they need to install 4 new wooden poles and remove 2. And that will require some temporary impacts due to matting for work pads of approximately, let me see here, 1,239 square feet of temporary impacts in wetland 2 for the work pad areas. And that's pretty much the extent of the changes.
So it looks to me, unless I'm reading this incorrectly, it says a temporary 5,000 square foot work pad is proposed.
Yeah, let me, do you have the plan in front of you, or do you want me to?
Yes.
Okay, let me see if I can
do.
throw it on.
Does anyone else have the plan in front of them?
I can see if I can put it on the screen here. Let me see if I
Yeah.
can.
I'm on screen share, so you should be able to.
Okay. Okay, does everybody see that?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So over here, let's back up a little bit so I can explain this. So this is wetland 1. So there's going to be some arborvitaes within the 50-foot no disturb zone and within the 100-foot buffer zone here. So planning board wants to install the arborvitaes here as a visual buffer to the expansion of the substation. So going back up to the second request this is the work pad area checkered in here around wetland 2. And these are the poles that they want to install. And these are the 2 poles they want to pull out.
The checkered area, meaning those red checks? Red
Yeah, the
Yeah.
hash marked area, I should
hash
say.
mark, yep.
Yeah.
Mhm. And what is it that you're proposing? A field change?
Yes, we're just proposing a modification, just a field change, yes.
Um,
So it's either a field change or I think an amendment.
an amendment.
Or amendment, yeah.
So it's a field change. I thought was possible if the impact was less
Yeah.
than proposed.
Okay.
And an amendment is required on if there's more impact than proposed. And it is, as you say, temporary, the impact. So I think I would like to ask George's opinion on this. I think you have more experience on this than I do.
Yeah, that distinction that came from the circuit rider, right?
Yeah. I think we put it into our regulations as well.
Yeah,
But I think that the blurry area here is its temporary impact.
yeah,
So I think this is it's always at our discretion. So I think this is a blurry area where discretion can be adjudicated.
Jess, can I ask a question though?
Yeah.
Jim, how much area was being impacted with temporary, let's say matting previously? I guess I'm not understanding it from the.
I don't have the previous impact numbers in front of me right now. Previously, we were going to, like I said, install one pole and remove one pole.
So the poles that you're showing us on the screen, the original pole that was going to be removed, was it the furthest one to the lower left? Or was it closer to the wetland too?
So you see the white poles in there?
Yep.
Okay, so those are the poles that are going to be, they want to remove.
Yep.
And then the yellow poles are the ones that they want to install.
Okay, and my question is, from the original proposal request, what was the single pole being replaced and reinstalled? Which one was that? Was that just the more the white one on the bottom?
I believe so, yes. I mean, I can try to open up the file, but I don't have it right in front of me. I apologize.
Okay, I guess
Do you
what
guys
I'm-
have, do you guys
I
have a
guess what I'm
file?
possibly pointing out is that I don't think the matting has technically changed at all, because they would have needed to mat that amount to remove that original pole to begin with. Is
Right,
my
to get
assumption,
around
but
the
I'm not
area.
totally sure.
Yeah.
But just something to think about, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, if the amount of matting is basically the same, then seems like there's not much of a difference.
I would have to compare the plans, to be honest with you, but yeah.
Yep.
But this doesn't really change the scope or the purpose of the project.
No, not at all. No. No.
Okay.
No, they just need to get in there to reconfigure the line. That's all, coming out. You can see the lines coming out of the substation.
Yep.
Yeah, so they need to contact those lines coming out.
What are your thoughts, Jen?
I mean, it's, as you said, it's temporary, so it doesn't seem to be a huge impact. I'd be fine with it.
Fine with it being a field change?
Yeah, thank you.
How about you, George? Field change or no?
Yeah, I think a fuel change is okay for this, since it's temporary.
Mhm. Mark, your thoughts?
Actually, I don't know that Mark can vote on this.
Oh, that's right. I'm
Yeah, I
sorry.
wouldn't be voting, but that's, again, I just wanted to get the clarification, and
Yeah.
I think we got that.
And you as well, Jess?
I'm fine with it.
I'm fine with it too. So we can go ahead and just do that as a field change.
Yeah. Want to make, just to be formal about it, George, you want to make a motion?
I move with we approve field change as requested.
Second,
All right, the motion was moved by George Bacon, was seconded by Jen and Maya. We will do a roll call vote. Jen, how do you vote?
aye.
George, how do you vote?
Aye.
Jess, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, passes unanimously.
So I will prepare just an email in writing to acknowledge this from the office, and then that should, and put that in our file. So that should cover for you, Jim, that should cover the okay.
Okay, great, great.
Okay.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
I
You're welcome,
probably
Jim.
won't get that out till Monday.
Yeah, that's fine. It's fine.
Thank you for joining
Thank
us
you.
this evening. Yeah,
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay, have a good evening.
You too.
Bye-bye.
That would
I'm sorry.
normally be something that you know, if we had our agent in place, then could be something that could have been decided independently of coming before the meeting, perhaps.
After some time and experience.
Yeah,
between-
after time and experience. Yeah,
Sure. Yep, that's the goal, right?
that is the goal.
Okay. Let's see. So our next item this evening is a discussion, Beaver Solutions Annual Maintenance Contract.
Okay, so we had, so first we had that maintenance, re-upping the maintenance contract that we discussed at our last meeting, and we wanted to check to see if the DPW wanted to take that over or not, and at this particular point, they do not. So that would be re-upping the maintenance for the 5 beaver deceivers, which are located at Shaker Road, West Main Street, Culvert, 2 on the conservation land near to Autumn Ridge and the Gun Club. And then the 5th one is behind the fire station on Nonequacious Brook. So that cost was, with the reductions for discounts for multiple deceivers, that cost came to $1,237.50. So question is whether we want to re-up that. My own opinion would be yes. But
Well, they have experience with our systems.
We don't
Anyone
have
else?
other alternatives.
You don't want to get out there and do that, George?
No, I'll pass.
plus the other thing is they guarantee their work and the pipes for 6 years. And you know, the culmination of that was for the Long Pond Dam, where we had problems last year, and that's our next discussion anyways. At their own expense, they wound up trying to do the trapping solution, which with mixed feelings, I'm sort of glad it didn't work. But they tried that at their own expense. So I think they really do stand by their customer service. So
How do you feel, Jen?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think they've done good work, and as George said, what are all our alternatives? Because DPW doesn't seem to have the time, so.
yeah,
And you, Mark?
Yep, I'm falling in line. I agree.
okay.
I agree with that.
So motion,
Is there a motion to approve the annual maintenance contract from Beaver Solutions to inspect and maintain the 5 beaver deceivers for an amount of $1,237.50 for 2023, 2022,
2022.
2022.
So moved.
Second,
All right, it was moved by George Bacon and seconded by Mark Phillips. Do a roll call vote. Jen, how do you vote?
Aye.
George, how do you vote?
Aye.
Jess, how do you vote?
I
Mark, how do you vote?
aye.
Chair votes aye, passes unanimously. So
all
you
right.
can get a letter off to them, Jess, and
Yeah, this is, oh yeah, so that we need an actual invoice. Yep. Or wait a minute. If that is an invoice, I'll just okay that for paying. And then the second part of this question is what to do about the Long Pond Dam. And I did sort of losing things. Oh, we did hear back from him. I think I sent that email around, but it has disappeared from my vision right now. Anyway, the advice from Mike Callahan about what to do about the Long Pond Dam was essentially, beavers are going to get very active right now, and they are very active in that area anyways. Plus they're mad at us for having tried to trap them. So it is starting to build up again. They'll have to clear it. The DPW will have to clear it soon anyway. The question is whether we want to experiment with putting in another deceiver or not. Mike Callahan said that they weren't sure if part of the problem with it failing was corrosion in the pipe. This pipe was installed, I think it was in 2014, so it's beyond the 6-year warranty against corrosion on pipes. And they won't be able to determine that until they can get in the water when it's a little bit warmer, which would be the middle of next month. So the question is, would we want to try once more to put in another deceiver and see if that maintains it at least for a number of years? Or if we put it in and the beavers thwart it very quickly, then I think we'd have no choice but to just remove it entirely and go on to the DPW regularly clearing it.
Yeah.
So those would be our two options.
Well, if it was from corrosion and it caused the deceiver to fail, the beavers didn't thwart it, they just sort of capitalized on it, but
Yeah, although that might have, the failure might have taught them something, we won't know. Depends how smart our beavers are. So they might have learned something from the process of getting through the corrosion to figure out how to thwart a functioning deceiver more quickly. But we
Yeah.
won't know unless we try.
what is the maintenance history without the deceiver? It's how often is DPW going to be down there?
Oh, they had to be down there quite a bit. And right now that area still has a lot of high water flooding that's gone way back by the chain before you begin to enter that right of way down there. That
Yep.
area is still a lot of standing water, which is partly the accumulation from last fall's failures when the deceiver failed, but it's also now the ground is still frozen deeper down, so the standing water can't fully soak in. But you should start to see improvement, but I would say it probably would require, and I think Mike Callahan in his email said he thought probably it would require the DPW going down every week or so.
Yep.
Once they really start getting active.
So they probably have an interest in a new deceiver, and not so they don't have to do that, I would guess.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts, Jen?
I kind of want to see how smart our beavers are. So kind of want to, I mean, it seems like the corrosion was a big factor. I mean, we won't have confirmation for a while, but I'm willing to give it another shot. I want to try exhaust all our options before we go back to trapping again.
Well, I don't think we'd go back to trapping. I think we'd just go back to regularly cleaning it off.
Yeah. I mean, we'll try a deceiver then to save DPW the trouble.
What do you think, Mark?
What's the, what was the part that actually corroded? I guess I'm not understanding that.
The pipe under the water. So there's the cage out in the water, and you have an intake pipe that runs out of that cage. And
I
then,
thought that was a flexible thing. No, it's not.
yeah, they're sort of flexible, but they're metal too. So they have some corrosion.
Oh, I guess I thought it was all that black corrugated type stuff. So, okay. Yeah, I'd say let's try it again. I don't know if there's any way he can sort of change the look of it, maybe to deceive them even more. Who knows? I guess I know we can't trap, but if you were to trap, the end state for the beaver is they don't survive the trapping.
right?
Is there any reason why we can only trap? Can we not put
You
them to
can't
their
repla-
demise another way?
You can't remove them and relocate them.
No, but I guess what I'm saying is that they end up dead after being trapped, correct?
Right.
So could we not hire a hunter, marksman, whatever, to take care of them that way? I mean, if it comes to that, if the deceiver does not end up working, like I said, the end state on trapping was that they ended up, moving out to the great, beaver dam in the sky.
I don't know the question. I don't know the answer to
Exactly.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'd have to look into that, but I think that would be really hard because somebody'd have to be sitting out there for an extended period of time waiting. And once you got one, then I think the others would disappear completely for a while.
Isn't that the goal?
No, not disappear from the
And we
area.
only take out one instead of half a dozen, and our solution solved.
So we have the martyr that we take out to be an example to all the other beavers.
Yeah. Take one for the team.
But I side with the beavers on this because when they destroy things, they create another habitat, unlike our species. When we destroy things,
Well, we just keep
it's not
destroying.
habitable for anybody.
What are your thoughts, George?
Yeah, I think we should go ahead with the deceiver. We should probably also just let DPW know what we're doing and tell them if it fails and it's gonna be on their shoulders.
Yeah, I think Dan does know that. He just wasn't, when this was brought up, I think when we talked about it last fall, he was like, well, if they had to, they'd have to, but he wasn't keen on it
Yeah,
at this particular point.
we
I
need
think
to
they're a
show
little
it.
bit understaffed.
yeah, we need to show we're doing everything we can.
Yeah,
Yeah. I heard a lecture from a man in Maine who does the same thing for a living, and he says that he never destroys a beaver. He says they can always be outwitted just by a different configuration of the deceiver. So if it's just one size fits all from our guys, we can maybe request that, like Mark says, something a little bit different to make it harder.
What I was wondering is that, does the pipe need to go out, an additional 20 feet so that it's beyond where the original one was? So they don't say, hey, this is, somebody cleaned up what we had blocked off. And if it's 20 feet away, maybe they don't care. I mean, who knows,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I think I'd be okay with replacing the deceiver as long as it was a little bit different than what we have, what was there currently.
okay. So I'll contact Mike Callahan about that. He has to send an invoice for that anyway, so we can't vote on that right now. But I'll contact him
Okay,
and we'll proceed along those lines.
yeah. Well, I
Okay.
saw a beaver swimming by today, and there's been some activity on the shore. Stuff's been chomped off already, so they're out and about.
All right.
Okay, then our next item this evening is there anything else before we move on from anyone who's listening or viewing? Okay. Our next item this evening is a discussion, the review of draft contract, North County Land Trust, conservation restriction management. How's that coming along, Jess?
Well, I sent you guys everything I had. They had, it was in the packet. They had responses to the things I communicated about our concerns before. So I noticed what we looked at before was a short form professional services agreement. And then what the new draft appears to be just more of a standard agreement. It's different. I haven't fully identified all the differences. I do know Robert pointed out that the new version refers to a contract for 16,000, and that's supposed to be 10,000, so he doesn't intend to sign anything that's more than 10,000.
So he determined that was a mistake?
Yeah, for
Okay,
the town, he's put in the budget for town meeting, $10,000, so.
Yep.
So that would be what we'd be looking for, that extent of services for the year.
for the year.
Are we sure that was just a finger fumble, or is that based on the rising cost of inflation? Do we know?
That's a big rise.
I'm assuming it's a finger fumble, but based on town not having budgeting, not seeking budgeting for more than that, that would have to be the amount we would agree to for now, unless something changed. But Robert's been negotiating this with North County, so I'm assuming he'll address that directly with them. But he'd be the one looking for the funding anyways, so he'd have to increase the amount if he wanted to change that.
Yeah, I was just wondering if, again, if North County reassessed their expenses and such, and that's why they, went from 10 to 16. So I was curious.
Guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
And just to clarify again, the scope of the services, they're literally setting up the documentation and stuff that we need to move forward in doing annual monitoring and records management. They're not actually doing the annual monitoring, or are they?
I think they are, aren't they?
They will be.
Yeah. Yeah, they'll be.
Okay. All right. I had the, I guess when we chatted about it before, I misunderstood that. And I got the impression that no, they would not be doing that for us.
Most of them aren't in condition to start the annual monitoring anyways. We need to sort of get the baseline or get the CRs in full order in the first place. So this is just to really start to get things in some sort of semblance of coherency.
And give them a list, a priority list.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think you had that in the questions, right? That they sent back to us then.
yeah, they send it back in very small print, so excuse me while I stick this right up to my face.
It talked about table on page 3, and I guess I don't remember seeing that, which was Exhibit A.
Yeah, the table on page Exhibit A, yeah, we added 3 additional CRs to that list. Orion Place, Panther Place, which will be coming through, and then Air Solar 2B, which will be coming through. Those are not yet set in stone. But I think this is good to get the process going. One of the questions, Mark, I think you in particular asked about the phrasing on the original item 5 that seemed to be unclear about who was paying what. Did you see their comment on that? Yeah. That North County Land Trust would not be able to pass off any expenses to the town or vice versa unless it was agreed to in this agreement in the first place.
Okay.
So, so that's legalese language, which generally goes right over my head, so. But that seems a good explanation.
Any other discussion on North County? Land Trust?
And so the item number 5, the scope of work and services to be provided. So they will do both in number 1, right? So where a developer does exist, they will work with them to draft the new CR documents. Where they don't exist, such as in Pine Meadow, Mount Laurel, they will work with us in the state to create CR documents and resolve issues. They're doing both of those things.
Right.
Okay,
And it's going to take a number of years to catch up because certainly all of the stuff that needs to be done can't be done for $10,000 in 1 year. There's a few that
Sure.
are more complicated, especially the one where you live, Mark. Which
well, I can do that just like that, lickety split.
move some houses around.
So then, just as you mentioned, I mean, it couldn't be done in 1 year. That being the case, then there's the expectation that, then the following year it's another 10 to
Yes,
progress, that much further next time and that kind of thing.
yes.
Yep.
So I think it would be good to identify, one of these items does mention about, putting a priority, like, this is what we believe, required deliverables. I think the last thing, figure out, okay, what do we think they can accomplish in the first year for the $10,000 and what would that be?
Okay.
My vote right now, we come up with a plan of accomplishments. We don't want to lose track of Panther Place. Those types of that are sort of in process while we still have developers around. We should take care of those.
Yeah, the problem with Panther Place, Solar 2, Shaker Mill Pond, the state still has not filled its position for a conservation restriction reviewer. So as much as everybody can get things in hand from our end and the developer's end, it still will come to a screeching halt in terms of the state for now. Hopefully that'll be resolved
Right.
soon.
But that's no fault of ours. And at least if we can get things resolved between them, the developer, like I said, while they're still around, that's probably the better way to approach it, I would say.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
I know one that we also need to start to draw up is one for the Pine Meadow Conservation Land and for the Tucker property that was added to it. But
Anything else on this topic before we move on?
right, so I'll tell Robert to move forward. That we'd probably like to just identify what our priorities are for the first year.
Yep,
Yeah.
and clarify that $10,000, $16,000 discrepancy.
Right.
Is that, Jess, is that something, the priorities, the deliverables, the last item, as they said, that to meet, is that something that you wanted to draft up and then maybe bring to us, or is that a separate meeting that gets held with Robert? Like, how should we proceed with that?
I would say we should consider then drafting up which CRs are our initial priority. Maybe that's something, how about I'll draft something up on that, circulate it, and then we can discuss it at our next meeting. Because it certainly shouldn't be my priorities, should be all of
Sure.
us. Yeah.
Yep. Anything else? Okay. Then our next item this evening is a discussion of the waterways sign project.
Just touching base, Mark, have you been able to get a new estimate from the sign company?
I have not. Still need to figure out our full list of signs. Did we, I know last time I kind of put a fly in the ointment, talked about, did we want to do two-sided or not?
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody is too stuck on single-sided or two-sided. I don't think we ever chatted about that physically in person, face to face.
A lot of them I don't think could be two-sided. Well, a couple of them anyway, because they'd be projecting out into a walkway, or
Yeah.
if you orient it perpendicular to the road.
Okay. So that
So,
being the case, then are we Or are we comfortable then? It would just be a single-sided, basically, as you said, John, being perpendicular to whatever walkway there would, just go with that and we're good.
It'd be okay with me.
Mhm.
Jen?
George?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay,
Yeah, I think single-sided.
okay. Okay, then I will draft something up. Jess, I think in the email you sent me, you did mention about the extension and requesting that.
Right,
And I think as George, as you said, we probably should, I can do that. If you already have something drafted, then, I can take
Yeah.
that and use it as a starting point.
yeah, well, this would be asking it of Lucy, right?
See, yeah, that would be my assumption, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't gotten it drafted yet, so if you wanted to just, since you have the relationship with her, if you want to just say, look, we're missing an agent and we've had to pick this up and volunteer commission and
Yep,
worried about supply issues. And that's then the other question, and I have no idea on this, is what kind of poles to use? Because it looks like it's optional. They don't have to be the steel poles. They could be wooden, substantial wooden ones. I think it just depends on the location and what the ground is.
okay. Yeah, and I know Dan did send us that stuff. In his quote that he got from that Lidl place,
Yeah.
it came up to, there were 10-foot poles, U-channel posts with 42-inch anchors that come with them. 4 of those at $82 each. So then I thought about that, knowing that the signs are 2 feet wide by like a foot high. If we could get double the anchors for the posts, we could probably just cut those 10-foot posts in half. They'd be 5 foot. The 42-inch anchor goes in the ground 2 feet, sticks up roughly 2 feet. We bolt the 5-foot chunk of pole to it. And then our sign would be basically at the top. So the sign would be from 4 foot to 5 foot height. So it's a
Mhm.
little bit lower than we had talked about initially. I think we were saying like maybe 5 to 6. So we'd be roughly a foot down, but might not be that bad. That's possibly a way to, get a substantial post while at the same time maybe saving a little bit of cost.
Yeah.
I don't know what everybody thinks about that.
So the 4-foot anchor, you just bolt the other post to it. Once it's in the ground, you just bolt it to it.
Yeah, let me show this picture that he sent. Jess, can I share? Or Jen?
Jen is the controller of that.
Still open unless Cindy sneak attack and turned it off, but nope, still on.
Share screen. Oh. Host disabled participating screen sharing.
I'm sorry, I shut it off instead of on.
Sorry, Cindy.
Back on.
And then again.
The toggle.
All right. So if I go here, you guys see that?
Yep.
So from what I'm reading, so this is the anchor down in here. It says 3 feet, but I think on the quote it says 42-inch. But that would be the idea, is I guess this anchor would go in first,
Mhm.
and then you'd have about no more than 2 feet sticking out, but then you would take the upper piece and bolt it there, as it says on this Marion lap splice. But obviously this is for their, a traffic sign needs to be 7 foot high, but our signs don't need to follow that standard or criteria, I would assume.
Right, right.
And so then I was thinking, we just, like I said, we just bolt our 5-foot chunk to it. The bottom of the sign then would be at 4 foot instead of 7 foot. And the top would be basically right at the top of the 5 foot.
And these would be galvanized steel?
Yeah, these are galvanized U channels like it shows right here.
Yeah. And that's where, to say this for the public, Dan Van Schalkwyk said the other day, they're starting the West Main Street Mass Works revamping of West Main. And he said there was like a 36-week queue for galvanized steel piping because of the situation with Russia and Ukraine. And a lot of the foundries got their pig iron from Russia, and that's no longer feasible or desirable.
Is he talking like the
Yeah, those big
conduit?
pipes, but I think it was partly a foundry issue, so I don't know if that's
Yeah.
going to affect other forms of steel product.
Okay.
That's a good
I
reason.
mean, I could
See-
reach out to this Kristen at Lido Leasing right here and maybe get the quote for what I was talking about. But yeah, like I said, this is how I see it being played out. 10-foot U-channel posts with 42-inch anchor and gold bar breakaway hardware. So I'm assuming it's four anchors, 4 10-foot sections, and that totals out to $82 each, or $328 for the 4. So if I can get a quote for, I don't know, what will we need? Let's say it's, how many sites did we come up with? Was it 10, 12?
10 or 12. I think
Yeah.
we had like
So let's-
yeah.
So if we got 6 10-foot pieces with 12 anchors, I could get a quote for that and see what that comes out to maybe.
And these anchors, they don't show it here to be set in concrete. They're just pounded in the ground.
Yeah, and I think that's what Dan was saying is that, you don't have to put these in concrete specifically, but he says, we typically make a concrete base. We use approximately a 15-inch long piece of 8-inch corrugated high density polyethylene, plastic corrugated thing to form them. We bury the anchor about 2 feet deep. I suppose you could use something different for the form. But then he said you could also drive the anchors directly in the ground, which is what this basically is. But he said you probably would, need something. I mean, I would be willing to give it a shot without it, honestly.
Yeah.
Just bring my sledgehammer. It's only 42 inches. Hold that, John, I'll let you hold it while I swing the sled.
Yeah, thank you.
But, there might be some sites where it would go in pretty smooth. There might be others where, maybe doing the dig and actually putting the concrete in might be required.
I don't have his email right in front of me, but on the one about I think he indicated he was okay with us doing something with the guardrail for the Nunquacious Brook one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that wouldn't require the anchor, but
Just the pole.
yeah.
Yeah, I think it would make sense to attach the sign to the guardrail, either directly on the face of the guardrail, or you could secure the post to the guardrail post in order to place the sign up higher. Holes would have to be drilled and hardware used to secure everything. So yeah. You could take some measurements, and I thought I had seen some holes in the guardrail that were already existing that we could possibly use. But yeah, so that is an option there too, where we wouldn't need a post at all.
Right.
Or I'm sorry, no, we wouldn't have to put it in the ground.
Right.
Anchor.
The post, sorry, that's what I meant.
But that could be a fun day, going out there and driving posts in the ground and.
Jen said she really wanted to build
Oh,
up her
nice.
upper body strength, so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I actually have plans that day though, so unfortunately.
Oh, well, we were gonna
Hold the post
multiple
for
days,
Mark.
like 1 post a day. You're busy all summer, right? Just in case you guys don't remember, this is what the signs are basically gonna look like with a couple extra insignias down here in the water waves.
Screens if you were trying to show us something.
I'm sorry, Jen, did I stop sharing? I'm sorry.
You're still sharing, but I still see the drawing. I don't see the picture of the sign.
That's weird. Let me see why not. Hold on, I gotta find the thing.
I'd like to know who Marion is.
Marion?
Well, the Marion lap splice. Why is it called that?
All right, I can't find my sharing toggle button anymore. Somehow it went away. So, Cindy, I'll let you take sharing, or I can. Oh, stop
Well,
sharing.
I can stop your screen share for you if you'd like.
Uh,
And then
hold on.
maybe you could try
This is
it
what I
again.
wanted to do. Sorry, I just figured it out. You can
Ta-da.
see this. Okay. Yes.
Got it. That's it. Yep.
That looks nice.
Was.
Yeah. So like I said, there'll be 2 additional insignias down here in the waves, basically. Okay, so I'll draft up a, please give us an extension. We're missing an agent. We were running out of money. And we also had issues with locations, so we had to reassess. So please give us more time. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
Sound good. Thank
No
you, Mark.
Russians.
And the
Now, I
Russian.
don't know if there's a defined amount of time, but should we ask instead of a June 30th deadline, basically December 31?
Well, the ground might be frozen again by December 31,
Sure.
maybe
Does that sound reasonable?
like November or something.
Or fall, basically, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's hard to say when it's going to be frozen.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
just say December 31.
December 31, okay.
Okay.
Anything else?
Nope, I think that's it. I'll stop sharing.
Any comments from anyone viewing, listening?
I count because I'm talking and viewing. This is just a side note for once these are posted, is there's sometimes with those QR codes, people can put sketchy stickers of QR codes over our completely legitimate QR codes. So we'll just want to periodically make sure that no one put anything over it that would
Like
direct you
Like a
an
linkage to a
inappropriate site.
porn site.
Or like, I would hopefully not with children, Jess, but sometimes have malware and stuff like that. I don't know. It's a thing, I guess.
That never would have
Never
even
heard of
crossed
that.
my mind.
Yeah,
David refuses to do anything with QR codes. He's like, I don't care. Like, it could be on a restaurant. He's like, no, I don't care. You don't know where it goes. So we just have to be careful. That's it.
Oh, okay, well, thanks. Yeah, that's, that never would have crossed my mind. Okay.
So I guess I'll ask, and we don't have to have the answer right now, but if that is potentially a concern, we have not finalized the design by putting the other insignias on. Let's all figure out if, do we want to take away the QR code because of that? I don't know, just something to think about.
I'd be willing to try it.
Yeah, we can
Same.
just check them periodically. If there's a little sticker over the top of it, just,
You can ask David to go around and check them, make sure they all work.
I'll ask him his professional opinion on whether or not we should do it, and then we'll see.
All right, I'll wait for that advice, thanks.
I think it's fine to proceed. It's something probably won't happen, but just as we're walking around or we're around town, just to keep an eye on them.
okay. Yep, that's a good plan. All righty. Yes, Jess.
Okay, special conditions boilerplate.
Yep.
still a work in progress. What I sent you were two things. One, I am it is just revamping it for the headings, putting it, because looking at what we've had and what we've been sort of sending out for the past many years, have been things all over the place. And we have our administrative conditions, that's pretty clear cut. And then I think arranging it so we have pre-construction conditions for having erosion controls inspected and pre-construction meeting for big projects. Some of our conditions don't fit into other areas, so I thought general site conditions would be like not using, I'm thinking of not using calcium chloride and stuff for dust control, or don't bury things. You can't bury things, so general things that would apply. And then during construction conditions and separating out sedimentation and erosion controls, invasive species management, soil stockpiles, fill, and I'm thinking that might be a good place to put something in about riprap, which I've seen in other places. Stormwater management. One thing we haven't been doing that seemed to slip out was for certain projects that are right up against, say, a catch basin, we might want to have an option for requiring, say, filter fabric in the catch basin if there might be runoff, if it applies to a particular project. Grading and landscaping. I think I want to create a separate category for ongoing maintenance, which would have applied, does apply to some things like the ice dam. What? Oh, I'm forgetting the name of it. The place out on West Main Street. They have an ongoing maintenance order of conditions with us. Project specific conditions. I'm thinking I want to have the option of dropping in particular sections as needed for signage or wetland replication or conservation restrictions or the need for progress reports. So that's what I'm thinking there. I also learned we want to make sure that we highlight in our future boilerplate what conditions are based on our bylaw as opposed to the Wetland Protection Act. I heard that. I went to a circuit rider Zoom meeting the other day, and that's something that needs to be specified in your order of conditions. Is this is a condition under the bylaw, not the act. So that would apply, for example, to the if we had a project that had wetland replication in it. We have 2-to-1 replication, whereas the act has 1-to-1. So we'd want to specify that and maybe make determinations for a particular project, whether that replication should be done early on to the extent possible or later. At any rate, so it's a work in progress. And it takes longer than I anticipated. So lots of interruptions. The one I sent you for discussion was just for us to sort of iron out, what do we really want to do on the one where we ask for, we've historically asked for a signed affidavit. And town council was pretty certain that we can't really mandate changes to deeds. In any case, we have really been woefully unsuccessful at following through on the affidavits or getting developers to follow through. It seems to be, it's a well-intentioned condition. But if we make it too stringent, I think we're not getting, we're falling behind on issuing, say, certificates of compliance on a lot of open projects. And I think it's partly because this particular condition is a little bit onerous as is, and perhaps legally problematic. But my own thoughts are that we probably still need that language where we're doing everything short of crossing the line legally, to say we really want to insist that the order of conditions gets passed to a new owner if it's while the order is still open before a certificate of compliance has been issued.
So.
Yep.
Can we proceed with how, George, I think George had brought this up, that the lot, while it's up for sale, must have a sign indicating that there are special conditions or order of conditions on this site and things like that. Did you suggested something like that, George, I thought?
Yeah,
Yeah, I did. A nice big one.
okay,
Nice.
we can put that in and that sign, the state, this general conditions that the state issues also requires a sign with the DEP number. So this would be a separate sign. And we could think about the wording there, but that the Air Conservation Commission wants a buyer to know that this property is under an order of conditions, something along those lines. We can think about the wording, but
Joanne had a draft.
did she? Where that is, I'll look for it on the computer.
Was there a conversation? Did we have a conversation with someone that, and they stated that having a big sign stating that there were some conditions on, like a big sign, like George said, on a lot,
Yeah,
that
Joe-
would
Joe-
hamper someone's decision to
Yeah.
purchase that piece of property. Now, Jen, you had that experience. Would that have changed your mind about, do you think?
No, I think that came up when we were talking about Panther Place, maybe.
Was it? Yeah, okay.
And I mean, it just would have given us that information, right? I mean, I'm sure it might deter some people who that's intimidating or scary, but I don't think,
Seems to be a lot of buyers.
I think it's better than buyer's remorse, right? Like, wouldn't you rather know?
Yes.
I think we could add in our own condition that expands on the state's condition for the DEP file number, add in our own condition for a sign. I'll look for if there's something in the computer with that wording. And then we could put that in as our condition. And then if particular applicant had a real issue with it that had grounds to it, we could always lighten it, but put in the most strong version first and bargain back from that.
Guess I would say if the DEP can require you to, post a number on it or whatever, what they need, there's no reason why we can't require them to do, the sign as George said, and, as Jen indicated, it really just, it'll bring the issue to a forefront. And some, they may say, oh, it's just, okay, yeah. So I got to go before the Conservation Commission before I do something. Okay, fine. Not a big deal. I don't plan on doing anything. Or, or somebody could say, yeah, well, catch me if you can. They could take that approach too, whatever they want to do. But, like Jess said, I mean, we're doing as much as we can within the legal limits of not crossing the line. I think that should be fine. I don't see, a sign is nothing. It doesn't impose anything except a slight cost on the developer to have it, put on the property.
Well, and one of the things, because this has given me the opportunity to read the state conditions in more detail. And the state's condition number 10 says a sign shall be displayed at the site not less than 2 square feet or more than 3 square feet. And then it says what it bears the words. I don't think all of the signs we've seen up are 2 square feet. Or how big a sign is 2 square feet? I mean, that's
1
a
foot
fairly
by 2
big
feet.
sign. 2 feet by 2 feet?
It's gonna be the
1 by
same
2?
size as our waterway signs. 1 foot by 2 foot.
1 foot by 2 foot. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, and I don't think all the signs that are up with DEP numbers are that size. I could ask the circuit rider if we could put in a condition that either it's a separate sign or could it be on the same sign as a DEP file number?
I do separate sign.
You want separate?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I won't even ask that.
Nail it to this, to a different tree or whatever.
Okay. And then, what do you think about keeping the language or dispensing with the language of the signed affidavit between seller and buyer and all the wording in the, we haven't gotten anywhere good with that. And town council seemed to indicate that was a bit of a reach. So we could
Yeah, I'd get rid of
consider,
it.
you what?
I would get rid of it.
Yeah, so I would, yeah, so I was thinking just something much more simple that, you know, that prior to the issuance of the certificate of compliance, the seller has to notify the commission in writing within, you know, period of time up to, say, 30 days of transfer of ownership. And should be providing the buyer with a copy of the order of conditions at that time as well. But keep it a little bit more modest in aspiration than it has been. So I'll draft that in and then see what everybody thinks.
I
But
guess
it
that's where I
seemed-
was going with the sign. If we did the sign, then we just take away the affidavit altogether. I guess is where I was thinking.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Okay, so that helps me quite a bit. And I think that's enough for now on that. It will continue to be a work.
Well, thank you very much, Jess, for doing that.
I'm learning more day by day.
Good.
Okay, so then we get into updates.
Conservation Office updates.
Okay, so one question is the issue of water chestnuts and pulling those, that project.
Yep.
So I did sit in on a Sudbury, Assabet, and not sure what the other river was, but it's the Suhasco lunchtime Zoom meeting, which had 2 circuit riders present. And they were going through some various stuff, but they had time at the end for people to ask general questions. And so I just asked about what they do about permitting projects like pulling invasive water chestnuts. So one of the circuit riders said, oh, it definitely needs conservation oversight and it should be a notice of intent because you don't
Really?
want to have, say, a bunch of scouts out there pulling up all the water chestnuts and then all sorts of other things they shouldn't be pulling up as well. The other circuit rider said she thought an RDA would be sufficient.
So is it our discretion?
Yeah, it seems like we had 2 different circuit rider. It seems like the ultimate thing was it should go through some permitting through us. And my own feeling is probably the RDA. If they pull up some other things at the same time, say water lilies or water shield or something like that, we're spending a lot of money in the other ponds thinning those out. So that doesn't seem to me to be too much of an issue. And Grove Pond has a lot of overgrowth, so that would be my suggestion.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
I think an RDA.
I agree.
Yeah,
Yeah, and my concern is just advising Lori Nearing just to make sure that we get all that lined up, because when she talked to us before, I think she was talking about if they do the pull, when they do the pull, or if they do the pull, if the testing from the grant comes up that it's safe to do, then there's really a sort of optimal window of a few weeks where you want to go in and do that. So we want to have all the permitting out of the way. So it's just a matter of wait for the right time. So I will
Do you
tell
re-
her RDA.
Yeah. Do you remember what that window was, Jess? I forgot.
It was somewhere like, and it was somewhere in the end of July into the end of August period. It was a specific time period before they fruit or something. I'd have to look back at the minutes,
Yeah,
but
okay. Be nice to get going though.
okay. Just a reminder, March 30th, CPC's holding its public hearings at 6 p.m. To look at various funding applications, the second one of which on the agenda that night will be the Flanagan Pond access, if anybody wants to watch it. No. So got a got a request from a resident over on Woodland Way yesterday who wants to put in has ordered a shed to put in and wanted to know what permitting he needed. And his contractor, the company the shed has come from, has recommended, I wrote back and said, well, I sent him a scan of his property and said, could you indicate where the shed is going to be? And then what it would be resting on. And he wrote back and said, the company has recommended it rest on 3/4 inch crushed stone. But then he wanted to know, or should it be poured concrete footings? If it was poured concrete, one, he needs to go to the building inspector, I think, for building permit. And two, then it would have to go before us if it's in the buffer zone. So I think he'd be better off with 3/4 inch crushed stone.
And like blocks. Just set it on blocks.
Yeah, I'd asked about blocks, but I think they were suggesting, I think similar, Jen, to what you were thinking about, weren't you, for digging in stone for along your house? So that would be doing some digging. So I'm going to suggest the simplest way for him would be probably to go with the crushed stone, and all he'd have to do is give us a little RDA for that, just to show us where he's going to put it, and how much earth removing he would do to put in the stone. So RDA. Sound about right.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Then we are probably going to be getting a request for certificate of compliance for a house over on Old Farm Way. The house itself already has its certificate of compliance for the house construction. They need a partial certificate of compliance for an old order 0341, which was George, you might remember, it was the phase 3 for Pingree Hill. So it's the infrastructure, stormwater and road. And I thought that that's a simple thing that you just I'd go out and take a quick look. I don't think there's it doesn't look like on the map there's a basin on that property, just a stormwater or drainage easement to get back to some other basins. But we do partial certificates all the time for infrastructure that's attached to a house area. That particular phase encompassed 32 house lots. So when people sell, they need to clear that deed for their house lot. And the developer hasn't looked for a certificate for the whole infrastructure yet. Any thoughts? I mean, George, you don't think the partial certificate would be a problem for something like that?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
Well, the town has accepted those roads, haven't they?
Yeah,
I would think shouldn't they require a certificate before they accept the roads?
yeah. Well, see, I'll double check that with the DPW. Yeah, they are getting close to finishing up at Pingree Hill. So I'm wondering then, going back to our previous discussion about affidavits of whether it would be, because we had a few years ago, we had a request for a whole bunch of certificates, and then it immediately, for Pingree Hill, it immediately got bogged down in the affidavit issue. And I'm wondering if it would be worth it communicating with Duke Pointer. I think he's the only one we have the ability to contact anymore, and just say we encourage you to clear up certificates on where you can in the development, and we are suspending the requirement for the affidavit.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
Ask him to do it, but then you're gonna tell him that we're suspending it, so why would he do it? Did I misunderstand?
No, suspending the requirement for the affidavit part for transfer of property ownership. But the COC request, they still have to provide the as-built or some sort of engineering letter to say it was built according to their plans.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, no, that's fine. Thanks.
Okay, it's just that transfer of ownership turned into a bog, a wetland, as it were. So. Okay, and in terms of, that was it for me on updates.
One thing that I have is, I guess the state has extended the period of time you can do Zoom meetings until, so July 15th. So we can continue with Zoom meetings if you prefer. The select board, I think as of April 1, said that each board and commission can decide what they want to do, if they want to do in-person meetings or Zoom meetings. But like Cindy said earlier, pick one, then you should stay with it. So I was just wondering what your thoughts are on what would you like to do? Get back together again and
yeah, I hate Zoom.
I'm sorry, what now?
I
Oh, you
hate Zoom.
hate Zoom.
Could you be a little more clear about that, George?
What are your thoughts, Jen?
But I have to wear real pants if we meet in person. That's the
You
question.
don't have to wear real
Sweatpants.
sweatpants or whatever you want to do.
I like the flexibility of Zoom. I know that I'm gonna have to be in the office more, so I'm a little bit, but I mean, whatever. In person's fine. I like you guys. I'd like to.
I mean, there is the convenience of Zoom for sure.
Yeah.
But not too many of us live that far away from town hall either. What do you think, Mark?
Yeah, I mean, we can get back together. I guess I just looking at April. No, we're doing the 14th and the 28th, correct? For the
Mhm.
Meetings. I will be out of the office on the 20, or I won't be around for the 28th. So just a heads up. I mean, do we want to say starting May, we're back in town in the town hall? We do one more Zoom, or well, potentially two more Zooms, and then come May, we're back meeting in person.
We'll
And
ease
by
into
then-
in person.
And by then we'd know if we're having a huge new surge.
That's
Fair.
kind of what I was actually thinking too, you know, the Omicron variant is like, is that actually something or not? And hopefully that would be subsided and then, you know, in 5-6 weeks here.
So I know Cindy, I think, said that you can't go back and forth, but if there is a surge, like what flexibility do we have?
Yeah, if there is a surge, Carly said, of course, that would change things, and that would change the advice from the state as well as the select board.
But we would need them to okay it. We couldn't just be like, no, we like people are gross. We don't want to meet in person. We would need them to tell us.
Well, yeah, and that would be after July 15th, we'd have to go back in person anyways, unless the state extended that.
Gotcha.
Right, the governor's order ends on July 15th.
Yeah.
But it's been extended several times over the last couple of years.
So if we meet in person, will we still have the option of people zooming into our in-person meeting?
Perhaps, we're working on some new equipment to facilitate that. Just waiting for a table.
Okay, along those lines, I mean, I had to zoom in at one point because of exposure. So if one of us is exposed, would we just have to miss the meeting or would we have the Zoom option?
Not sure.
Yeah,
That's
good
the
question.
question.
I'm not sure
Always
how
had
that
the
works
phone
with
option.
the, the board and or committee.
What was that, George?
We always had the phone in option for meetings,
Yep, right.
even
That's true.
before.
Yeah.
So I'd
And
say,
the advantage to in-person meetings are homemade cookies. So
oh, yeah.
I'm throwing that out there.
I didn't know actually, so 3.5 years on, I didn't know we had a phone in option, honestly. We've never opened a phone call. We were in person from what I remember.
I don't know if that's clear, George.
I don't know.
I
But that
phoned
would
in
be a
one time.
question for Robert.
I was having trouble with our computer at one meeting and I phoned in as the chair.
Yeah, but we
But I'm
were on
saying if
Zoom
we're-
already,
If
right?
we're meeting
Right.
in
You
person,
phone into a Zoom meeting, which is
Yeah.
different, I think.
I'll phone into an in-person meeting.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah,
So that's a question to ask, but yeah. I mean, otherwise, as long as we had a quorum, we can continue.
press on.
If somebody was exposed and was feeling bad, I wouldn't be lying in bed anyways, moaning. Hopefully not too badly.
Just mute the moans.
Mute the moans.
All righty. So, yeah, I think if you want to delay until end of April, early March, whenever.
Or the May meetings.
Oh, I'm sorry, the May meetings, that other M month.
when the Mayflowers come.
We're circling around.
Yeah. I don't think Mark was here, was he?
I don't know. Did you hear the thing about the Mayflower earlier, Mark?
I didn't.
Yeah, you didn't?
Was there Mayflowers? What was it?
Well, the March showers bring April flowers, or
April
April
showers.
showers bring what?
Bring
Mayflowers?
Mayflowers.
Mayflowers.
More than
What do
Mayflowers.
Mayflowers bring?
They bring the pilgrims.
There
Right.
you go.
I'm the only one that was new to, apparently.
Gosh.
I know.
Is there anything else?
What other updates do we have, Jeff?
What was that?
What other up?
Oh, you're breaking up a bit, Mark. Try again.
What other updates?
None other from me.
Any
Do
other
you have more
updates from
updates?
commissioners? Okay, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second,
All right, the motion was moved by George Bacon, seconded by Mark Phillips. Jen, how do you vote?
Hi.
George, how do you vote? Jess, how do you vote?
Hi.
And Mark, how do you vote?
I.
Chair votes aye. We are adjourned.